My name's Christopher Van Mossevelde, and I'm going to be talking about the importance of visual communications in PR. The people you want to reach, be they journalists, influencers, or customers, aren't going to visit your website each morning to see what you're up to. Instead, they'll open up Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, among others, to stay connected with friends and to fill up on interesting stories. But they'll also check their emails to read or keep up to date with current news, be that press releases, newsletters, or sites they follow. However, getting attention in social media via an email or when they land up on your website isn't easy. You'll be competing for attention with a massive group of others, your competitors, completely unrelated brands, and a flood of posts on social media and news via email from friends and family, random co-workers, high school sweethearts, and so on. Plus, you're trying to win the attention of people who are, quite frankly, attention impaired. Recently, research shows 81% of people are only skimming the content they read online. You've got to be adept to get attention on crowded social media channels and in a crowded email inbox. One way to cut through the clutter is to make your posts, press releases, newsletters, websites visually appealing, and research bears this out. Brand-created Facebook posts that include images earn 87% of all engagement. Tweets with images earn nearly 20% more clicks, nearly 90% more favorites, and 150% more retweets. And the average video post generates 135% greater organic reach compared to photo posts. And press releases with links to videos and embedded pictures are a must because it increases overall engagement with 80% for photos and 55% for videos. So, we agree it's important, right? If so, let's talk about the options available and how to get started. Imagery. Using imagery, whether photography, illustrations, or some other graphic, helps make your news releases and articles more engaging and memorable. Plus, imagery drives your content to be more searchable online. Social posts that include images are 650% more likely to engage than text-only posts. Let's look at an example to explain why. When the Dutch 3D printing company Ultimaker publishes stories about how customers use its product, oversized photography is an essential part of the narrative. Rather than publishing releases about new updates to its software or announcing new leadership, neither of which is particularly interesting, Ultimaker profiles how an orthopedic surgeon uses 3D printing to manufacture bone models, or a designer to print one-of-a-kind accessories. You might think finding inspirational images is much easier for a 3D printing company. That may be true, but any company can find evocative images to pair with content. Here are some pointers to get you thinking about the process. 1. Seek out authenticity. Above all, avoid images that feel commercial or smarmy. You know the ones. The actor all looks posed and curiously happy to be sitting around a conference table, or are overly pleased with their green salad. Instead of the two images above, these two below cover the same subject matter, but have a more updated look and feel. A. Featuring people who are actors can be a tricky choice, because too often the image looks posed. Whenever possible, choose a realistic setting, or even better, a genuinely real one, rather than somewhere perfectly presented, but oddly fake looking. Sometimes taking people out of the photo is the best choice to ensure the image doesn't look staged. B. To capture realism, some designers may even choose to use what's called a glitch aesthetic. It's a photo that's intentionally imperfect and used to make the image appear more realistic. 2. Plan to pay for quality. Finding good imagery can be difficult, and in our experience, the quality of the image is often directly proportional to the amount you're willing to pay for it. A. Free images do exist from sites like Creative Commons, but you'll spend a lot of time finding the right images and the quality to fit your needs, because these are huge open source libraries. Recently, niche photo sites have sprouted up that promise quality in a free package, such as Unsplash and Negative Space. Still, these are small portfolios compared to the big stock photo libraries. If you choose this route, always do your research to ensure you have permission to use what you find. B. Tried and true stock photo sites such as Getty Images, Big Stock Photo, and iStock have good search functions and transparent pricing ladders. Plus, bigger sites offer curated collections, so you'll spend less time wading through choices. C. Finally, for very important high visibility projects, consider original or custom artwork. Hiring a professional photographer, illustrator, or designer can pay big dividends for critical content projects. 3. Add attractants. Once you've chosen your main images, consider adding overlays to make those images more recognizable and shareable. A. If you are publishing original artwork, whether it's custom photos, illustrations, or data graphics, add your logo or mark to identify it as yours. B. Particularly for images you'll share through social channels, consider adding a title, quote, or other text that attracts attention. Infographics. We've reviewed the whys and hows of images. Infographics go one step further. They visualize complex information in a digestible visual format. And like plain images, they increase your chance your messages will be read and shared. Consider the infographic from Autodesk, a company we've mentioned in an earlier module. It highlights the way 3D printing will change the future of small business innovation. The infographic is visually interesting and breaks the complex topics into easily digestible units. Warning. While infographics are a fantastic way to present information in an interesting way, it also has its risks. For every 300 examples we see online, only a handful are well executed. We made up that statistics if you must know, but it's directionally correct. The problem is that there are dozens of tools online to help you make information visual, but building a good infographic requires skill. One of the best sources we know of those interested in learning how to visualize information is a book by Scott Berinato called Good Charts. It won't teach you specifically how to create an infographic, but it will explain clearly the tenets of good content visualization. If publishing an infographic seems too ambitious, consider publishing a data graphic, basically a smaller version of the same thing. So how do you know if your story makes sense to visualize in an infographic? The most interesting infographics contain some or all of these ingredients. 1. They untangle a complex topic and distill it into key parts. 2. The subject matter lends itself to a modular layout. It can be presented in pieces and parts that add up to an interesting story. 3. The story is often bolstered by data. Always be sure, by the way, to cite your source. 4. And the design uses a visual metaphor or consistent theme throughout. For the 3D printing example we shared, designers used robots to make the graphic more interesting. Plus it ties in nicely with the design and manufacturing automation. Where to publish? Once you've designed your infographic, the asset will live on your website, but you'll also publish it throughout social channels. If your infographic is large in scale, consider creating a smaller version for promoting online that fits within the parameters of each social network. Then link to the entire version on your site. You'll also want to increase the chances that digital media companies will pick up your infographic for republishing. Reach out to journalists and influencers in your network to see if they are interested in sharing the graphic with their audiences. Presentations. While they may seem old school, online presentations are another great way to unpack complex topics and offer prescriptive advice. Plus, if you've done well, you can gate your presentations, so users must share contact information to watch the presentation or download it. There are a few types to consider. 1. Static presentations, such as those you might find on SlideShare. These are slide decks in which the reader controls page turns. They are the simplest format, but not always an effective way to convey complex information. 2. On-demand presentations or on-demand webinars. These include narration and are available for viewing at any time. Usually a company will gate on-demand content so that a viewer must submit contact information to watch the webinar later. 3. Live presentations. In a live presentation, individuals register in advance and the format feels more like a classroom or a seminar setting. As with on-demand webinars, users will share their contact information to participate. Depending on the technology you work with, users can ask questions to presenters or to participate in live polls and quizzes. Interactive features like these are available as plugins from webinar companies. Whether you decide to pre-record a presentation or host something live, you'll need to choose a platform to help you host and distribute it. There are dozens of cloud-based solutions such as GoToMeetings, Capterra, and Brightcove. These allow you to access the hosting platform through your own website and brand the channel with your company's look and feel. More and more companies offer live streaming options. YouTube Live is the biggest player in the market. Others are quickly jumping on. These usually offer fewer options for contact capture than the paid versions above. If you think an educational series or even a single webinar class is a good fit for your PR needs, there's a good bit of work to do, including 1. Defining your agenda. 2. Choosing the ideal format. For example, will you have a single talking head or will you host a panel discussion? 3. Promoting your event. 4. Rehearsing for a live show. 5. Executing the event on the big day. 6. Creating a portfolio of follow-up content to keep participants engaged. We won't dive into details as there are already many good resources online that will help you put together an excellent webinar. The real trick in the beginning is to be prepared and rehearse. Video. Video is the ultimate visual format to drive a desired action, whether it's eliciting an emotional response, conveying information, or simplifying complex information. Plus, research shows videos work. Tweets that include an embedded video are shared 28% more than those without video. The average video post generates 135% greater organic reach compared to photo posts. And most incredible of all, researchers estimate that by 2018, 79% of internet traffic will be video content. So for PR professionals, video content can also help your media company stakeholders by offering ready-made content for sharing. Rather than just pitching stories, you'll be pitching pre-packaged video stories ready for distribution. The subjects you can cover with video are truly endless, but some good entry-level projects include customer success stories. Profile an interesting customer, the challenges they face, and how your product fits into the solution. For example, WSP Parsons Brickhoff is a multinational engineering consulting firm that tackles infrastructure and high-rise projects all over the world. It produces videos to share the company's remarkable feats, including its new sky villas in New York City. Corporate social responsibility stories. Show a day in the life of an issue your company cares about and underwrites in some fashion. Good examples are Deloitte Impact Day and Roche Pharma. As you become more comfortable producing videos, you can consider other formats, such as educational videos. This series from Canadian beer importer McClelland publishes brief videos for beer lovers, including the short primer on the difference between German and Belgian beer. Creating effective videos often requires outside help, but not always. First, think about your budget and your video ambitions. What is a reasonable scope of work for your first project, and how much are you willing to pay? Next, canvass your internal resources. Does anyone on the team have video production and editing skills? How about experience overseeing a video project? Ensure you involve internal players who can help bring the project to fruition. Unless you have experienced videographers and video editors, assume you'll be hiring an agency or freelancer. The ideal agency or individual will help you think through your idea, develop a storyboard, help choose filming locations, and translate your ideas into an edited, finished product. You want someone who will test your concepts and advise you about how to improve them. To save money, consider investing in a series rather than a one-off video project, because the cost per video will be lower. 1. Making your content visual isn't just nice to have, it's imperative. Too many companies and individuals are craving for attention online. Make your stories easier to find by adding images, graphics, and video. 2. Include visual experts on your team. Choosing appropriate images, designing infographics, and producing videos are all things you could do yourself if you wanted to try it, but they are often best left to individuals with some training. Seek out designers and other visual experts inside your organization to advise you, and if you don't have them, hire the right expertise. 3. Make it real. When given the choice, always opt for realism over the veneer of perfection. With imagery, choose those that convey emotion and look true to life. If you profile a customer in a video, let them speak their true experiences, even the tough stuff. Your customers will relate to realism and imperfections more than a perfectly polished image. 4. Experiment. The best way to learn these new formats and features is to try them out. Give yourself permission to experiment, make mistakes, and improve. And that mistakes are evidence you're all taking risks. 5. Video is not out of reach. Make it a goal to add video to your content portfolio within 12 months. More than any other format, video is skyrocketing in usage, and the effectiveness. While it used to be the domain of advanced storytellers, now it's a must for all PR groups to adopt.